I can't believe I'm actually sitting here filming this right now. It feels like the most surreal, unbelievable, first of all, year of my entire life. But this feeling to be sitting here after doing this since 2013. I mean, gosh, how long have I been on YouTube filming beauty videos? To have this be my first collab and first tangible product that I've ever put out. I've never put out merch. I've never sold anything before with my name on it or being connected to me. So this is a first, and it is such a surreal feeling. So today I'm sitting on camera talking to you guys about my first ever brand collaboration, and I'm so excited to be talking to you guys about it. Today I am showing you guys my collection with PUR Cosmetics. The fact that I'm sitting here on camera talking to you about this right now, when it has been so long in the making, I know everybody says that all the time, but this actually has, is so unbelievably surreal. I can't even believe that this time has come. It's felt like such a long time coming. So instead of sitting here and talking about how unbelievable I think this is, why don't I talk to you guys about the collection, what everything is, how it all came to fruition, and show you everything. I don't even know where to start. So the tiniest bit of background, if you don't know who they are, I mean, you probably do. You probably heard me talk about them a trillion times. I always talk about my absolute love for the PUR 4-in-1 Love Your Selfie Foundation. Still to this day, it's what I'm wearing right now. It's what I wear every day. I've gone through multiple bottles of it and I just love it. PUR, actually, I met them for the first time in 2018. They actually invited me on my very first brand trip, and we really hadn't connected much before that at all. I had tried out their products, and I think it was in 2017 I was testing out a bunch of full face of first impressions, and I tried some PUR Cosmetics. Ooh, that is seriously so stunning. Oh my god, I'm in love. Look at this! Oh my god, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. It has a mirror. Oh my god, so you can apply your lipstick. There's a light in it. And a mirror. PUR Cosmetics, like literally I'm obsessed with everything I tried today. Yeah. After that, got invited on my very first brand trip, and that was to Mexico with PUR and BoxyCharm. To this day, it is still one of the highlights of my life. It was such an incredible trip. I have a full vlog if you guys are interested in watching it. I will have it linked. I'll have everything linked everywhere. But I went there and sobbed my face off, because it was such a just unbelievable moment to me to be invited somewhere so beautiful. I just didn't feel like I deserved it, and it was just, honestly, it's too surreal. Even to this day, when I look back on the footage, I'm like, I was there. That's where I was able to meet the PUR Cosmetics team for the first time. And I'm not just saying this because I am collaborating with PUR. I would say this and have said it through and through, time and time again. The team at PUR Cosmetics, salt of the earth. Just hands down, brand aside, some of the best people you've ever met. Incredibly down to earth. So real, and they have such a good vibe about them. They're just very kind people. And through, whether I was doing this or not, I've said this a million times and I'll say it a million times more. Best team ever. Just the nicest, most down to earth, real ass people that you've ever met. So they asked me to collaborate with them. Actually, we went out to dinner one evening. The answer, of course, was yes, because they're such good people and I love PUR and I really like what they stand for, and also it just felt like the right fit. So we had a phone call and they asked me what I wanted to do, and off the top of my head, I just kept thinking my first collab has to be eyeshadow. It has to be, because eyes are what I care about. Lips are one thing, they're pretty, I like lips, but I wear the same lip combo every single day. I'm a nude lip ass bitch. I love a good nude lip, and I would love to come out with maybe some lip product one day, but I knew that I wanted to do something with eyes, and they really gave me free reign. We talked on the phone and they were like, what do you want to do? Could you come up with? I wanted to think of something that I could do that was a little bit different than anything I had seen before, not because I'm trying to be innovative or anything, but more or less that I wanted to do something that I feel like I would like personally, that I hope you guys would like as well, and that would make sense. So I did something that I've really never seen done before. I really like it, and I hope you guys like it as well. This first collaboration has to be about everything that I and we love. Everything that makes sense for RawBeautyKristi and Kristi in general. That's what I felt like my first collab had to be. You know, subsequent ones, if I do some in the future, they can branch out into different fields, but the first one, I wanted it to be no theme, except for the theme is us, you know? It's me. It's just life and things I love and things that I cherish. So that's what this whole entire collaboration is all about. It's about names and phrases and artwork and the idea that I felt like suited me. This right here is the PR box that people are going to be sent that are on the PR list. And when it opens up, I designed this entire box as well. And when you open it up, you've got your two side flaps and you've got your middle palette. So this is the palette in the center, and there are also two pairs of lashes. We're gonna start off with the palette. This is actually the unit carton here, but this is what the palette looks like on the inside as well. And I actually drew all of the artwork for this palette. I wanted it to be just very specific things that I love and that make sense and that really suit me, and just things that I just cherish in my life. So I designed this packaging here. This is actually my signature, so that's handwritten by me as well. And I'm going to explain all of the artwork here in just a second, but this is the palette. This right here is the back of the unit carton, and it explains everything about the collection. And I'm going to go through it with you right now. It's something that I hope makes sense and that I hope you guys like. So you've got your eyeshadow palette here, but you may notice when you flip it over, you've got a different looking side. Now that is because this is a double-sided eyeshadow palette. I wanted a palette that didn't intimidate. I wanted it to be something where when you sat down to work with it, there weren't too many colors and you don't know where to go. You have a neutral side and a colorful side. If you want to go neutral, just open your neutral side, go. I'd say for myself personally, that's the one that I gravitate towards the most. Today I'm wearing 4 of the shades from the neutral side of the palette. I'm going to show you all of those. The way you can differentiate what side of the palette you are on is that the side with the neutral shades has a rose gold stamp, and the side with the colorful shades is a holographic stamp. And so you don't have to open it to know what side of the palette you're on. Now I wanted something that was travel size friendly, but that had a lot of shades. So to do that, that's how the double-sided came into my mind. I actually created this in 2018. I sent them over a little, I actually think I have it right here. This is the original palette. Everyone, it is so beautiful. But this is how I wanted to explain to them what I was wanting in an eyeshadow palette. So I said neutrals and brights. I made it with cardboard. This is back when we were, I think this is still when we were remodeling this house. So it's been in the works for a long time. But I wanted something like that because how I was picturing is you've got 9 shades on each side. So you've got 18 shades in total. And that gets you some brights and some neutrals. Now, each side of the palette is specific as well. It took me a really long time to nail down the shades to be something that I felt like I don't have to have another palette. Of course, everybody likes a lot of shimmers and things like that, but these palettes are mostly mattes because for myself personally, I need matte eyeshadows to create the look and I need some shimmer to finish off the look. And there are so many beautiful either loose shimmers or glitters or liquid glitters. Some of my palettes have an incorrect shimmer to matte ratio, so I just have so many shimmers that I was like, let's focus on mattes, really good blending shades, and then toss in a universal shimmer on each side. So there isn't only a palette, we also did 2 eyelashes. So the initial idea for this collab was that everybody has different sides to themselves. That some days I want to be neutral, and sometimes I go a straight 2 months and I only do the same eyeshadow look every single day. And then sometimes I'm like, you know what? I want green eyeshadow today. I want blue. I want pink. I want rainbow. And you have those different sides to yourself. So I wanted to create a palette that showcases those different sides. So you've got your colorful side of the palette, which could be when you're feeling that you want to go bold or you want to have something that just takes you out of your comfort zone, you've got that colorful side. But when you're on the more normal everyday, you're going to work or you just want to have something that you feel really pretty and soft, glam, you've got your neutral side. And because they are separated on each side. Yes, of course, you'll have to flip open and move the eyeshadow palette as you use it. But for me, the whole goal of that was, first of all, to make the palette travel friendly. I wanted it to be small enough that it's travel friendly and that you can use it when you're on the go with having the amount of shades that would make the palette too large, in my opinion. An 18 pan shadow palette is going to be really large unless you make it double-sided like we did. So we created the double-sided so that you have all of the color options as well, but that also sometimes when you're looking at a palette, and I know I can speak from personal experience, and you guys are obviously your own artists when it comes to makeup, but I have heard feedback time and time again from people who have purchased palettes or who we see the color layouts and we're like, I don't even know how to create an eye look with this. Like, I remember back in the day, I would look at these palettes and be like, I don't know where to go. There's too many shades and there's too many options and I don't know where to take this. What I was thinking was, if you are a beginner at makeup, or you're somebody who gets overwhelmed really easily by having too many color options in front of you, by just, you don't know what to do, by having them separated out from a neutral side and then the really bright side, you aren't being overwhelmed by too many shades in your face. It's just, hey, today I'm feeling neutral, quick, boom, boom, boom. And because of the way I hopefully laid it out for you, it makes sense. So this is considered a pressed pigment palette. I called it an eyeshadow palette, but you know, you get used to what you call it. So at the bottom on the back of the box, of course it is extremely tiny beneath all of the ingredients, but it says here, asterisk shades are not intended for use in the immediate eye area. So this was first really discovered in like the Urban Decay electric palette back in the day. And I think that's same in their wired palette now, because there are pigments that are used in eyeshadows at times. They can't call them legally eyeshadows because they aren't deemed by the FDA as approved for the immediate eye area. Not because they're harmful, but from what I understand in all of the research I've done, not in the United States, but most other places in the world, they are fine. Everybody uses them and they can be called eyeshadows. But here, because they are not approved, they have to put that warning on the label. Now, that label is because, from what I understand, that is because the shades can stain your eye area, because the type of pigments that are in there can stain. Now, that staining, at least for me, I've been able to get out with a regular like makeup remover. I've noticed it specifically in this palette from the pink shade. Also, I forgot to mention this in the video, but one of the main reasons that you would use dyes that are not intended for use in the immediate eye area is when you want to have a vegan palette. So when you don't want to use carmine, which is a crushed beetle, and you want to have a vegan palette, then typically you need to replace that with a dye, and that is when it becomes technically not for use in the immediate eye area. So personally chose to have a vegan palette with that to be the case than to use carmine. I haven't really noticed it badly at all. Unless I'm not using a primer, I'm just putting it on. I have noticed a little bit of staining with side effect, but other than that, I really haven't noticed any issues at all. There are some shades in the palette that you'll notice that little asterisk next to on the unit carton, and that is Flavortown, MI Orange, Tribute, Side Effect, Copper Boxes, It Just Does, and My Whole Heart. If you have extremely sensitive eyes, or if you've ever noticed that you've been sensitive to pressed pigments before, you may want to be careful, but I can tell you that I've been using these palettes every day for like the last few months, and I have had no issues with anything on my eyes. You'll notice that with a lot of different eyeshadow palettes. It is not just this one from PUR. You'll notice that from, I believe, Lunar Beauty's Life's a Drag palette has that as well. I'm almost positive, but I think the Morphe and James Charles collaboration was the same way in the Artistry palette. So when you're looking at the back of the palette, it's right next to the name on the little colors right here on the unit carton. This is not on the actual palette, so do look at the unit carton. Let me explain the artwork real quick on the outside in case any of you guys were wondering. If you look at the palette, I'm going to start from the top left and work my way over. The top left image is my kitty Snickers. Now you guys know that I am a huge cat lover. I have a ton and I feed a ton of strays, but my kitty Snickers actually passed away last year and she was 22 years old, the kitty I've had the longest of any cat in my life. And I wanted to pay homage to her on the palette. I know that might be silly to some people, but to me, this palette is my first. It means the most, and it's something that I wanted to have representation for everything in my life that I love. So Kitty Snickers is up on the top, and of course that represents my love for all kitties, and I drew all of these as well. And then those hands that you see right in the center, those are my hands actually that I drew, and that is the heart hand symbol that my family and I have done since the day I was born. It's something that we just have done, and I think a lot of people probably do this, but we do the heart hands every time we're driving away or we're walking away, just to like show you at the same time, of course, that we're saying it, like, I love you, and it's what we do when we're saying goodbye. And I wanted that to be like the symbol for my family. On the right is my paying homage to Harry Potter, but also makeup. So as you can see, it's like my version of the Deathly Hallows, but totally different. So instead of it being the triangle, the wand, and the circle, I've got the triangle, a makeup brush, and that's actually my eye from an eye look that I did in Halloween. And that's my homage to Harry Potter, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. I've seen it literally 500 trillion times, and books, and I just love them so much. So below that is a microphone, because I love to sing. I've loved to sing my entire life. I always thought that I would be a singer, and it says 1987 on there because that's my birth year. I just thought it would be fitting to add a microphone because we were in a cover band as a kid. I love to sing, play instruments, and it just felt right. Right below that, I think we all know who that is. That is the love of my life, Maddie. This is my cat, Mad Eye, and he is the love of my life. He is a little rescue kitty that's one-eyed that we've had for like almost 9 years now. I literally can't believe he's that old. It makes me sick to my stomach. He's such a baby. And I had to put him on here because of all the animals I've ever had, you know, there's just that one that you connect with, that bond you have that you can't understand and you can't explain. That's him. I had to add him and his cute little face and his cute little butt. So that's my cat, Mad Eye. Right next to that is actually my husband. I had to put him on there. He's like, why did you put my face on it? I'm like, okay, because your face is cute. And he's sitting inside of a picture frame from the show Friends. I thought it would be fitting because it may not be our #1 favorite show. That's The Office, like hands down. But Friends is a show that's right up there. I mean, we've done Friends trivia together. We've seen it a trillion times. It's probably the show we've seen the most of everything. It's a show we'd watch together all the time. We would sit down, we'd watch it every time we would eat dinner. That's the picture frame that you see on the back of Monica's door in Friends. So I just love that his little face is on there. He's so cute. To the left of that is the Pacific Northwest, where I was born and raised. And it's got the Space Needle on there and the mountain range and also some trees just to symbolize the lovely state that I live in and have lived in my whole life and likely will live in for the rest of my life because my whole family is here and it's just home. It's home. And the final image is above that, and that is a coffee cup, because if you know me at all, you know that I am obsessed with coffee and I drink it every single day of my life and I love it with my whole heart, and I don't think there's a better beverage that exists, and on the coffee mug is "You're not my real dad." Because you're not. I thought there was no more fitting a word than to put that on the mug. So each of those images is actually on the inside of the palette as well, randomly interspersed throughout. And when you open it up, each side of the eyeshadow palette has its own mirror. When you open each side of the palette, you've got your colors. This is the bright side, and then you flip it around and you've got your neutrals. Now I'm gonna go through each shade name and color and explain to you guys kind of how I came up with them and what each of them means. I think I'm gonna start with the colorful side so that I can explain all of these names, talk to you guys about how I came up with everything. I tell you, it is not easy. Some people can come up with this stuff on a dime. They're just like coming up with names. Not me. I am not one of those people. And after doing this collaboration, I realized what kind of person I am. I don't know if I like that person. So when you open up the palette, you open it up, you have a mirror right there, and then you have all of your shades. So this side of the palette, I wanted it to be rainbow. I didn't want it to be your typical rainbow in that all the shades are primary. I feel like I wanted to pick the more wearable version of each shade. So like the red isn't just that true red, it has a little bit of a berry to it. The orange is a true orange. Because I have a warm brown on the other side, I wanted it to be complementary and I wanted you to have the option. The yellow is sort of like a goldenrod yellow. Green is a very kind of tealy green. It doesn't lean at all into like the forest green category. It stays more teal. The blue shade that's in there is, again, I would call it a more wearable blue. I mean, obviously it's blue at the end of the day, but it's not like a bright sky blue. I feel like it's muted enough. I wanted the colors to be bold, but muted in the way that they're just not too intense. The purple is your standard purple, and the pink is incredibly vibrant. I put a white in this side as well because I wanted the white shade to be able to blend out or lighten any of the other shades. I asked on Twitter, gosh, I feel like it was like a year ago now, maybe it wasn't quite that long, but I asked, in a palette, what do you prefer, a white or a black? It was overwhelming the amount of people that were like, I don't ever use the black in an eyeshadow palette. I would be far more apt to use a white to blend things out with, and I have a black shade in almost every palette that I can dip into. So I thought, you know what, I love to have a black to blend things out, but at the same time, this isn't just for me, okay? This is for everybody. So I put a white in the palette because I feel like it can blend out any of these shades to add a transition shade. Even if not, having a white in the palette, I really like. I actually, for the photo shoot, did a full white eye look. All it was white with a big black wing, and it was so beautiful. I love the way that it looked. And then as you can see, there are 8 matte shades on this side and 1 shimmer right in the center. The shade in the center, which is a shimmer, that one is like a whitish pink. I feel like it works with all of these shades to add a shimmer topper if you want shimmer. If you don't, or if you have a liquid shimmer, go ahead and throw that on top. The PUR eye polishes are amazing. The whole premise of this was to have your matte shades, but to be able to turn them shimmery if you want to, with kind of a universal topper on each side. So I'm gonna go through the names and explain to you and show you guys swatches of the colors. The first shade in here is called Flavortown. Now, I don't know if that needs much explanation, but if you guys haven't been watching me for years or you're a new subscriber, you may not have seen my Guy Fieri Halloween transformation.
We're rolling out, looking for America's favorite diners, drive-ins, and dives.
I transformed myself into Guy Fieri, I think that was, gosh, in 2015. And since then, everything Guy Fieri, I'm not exaggerating, is sent my way. Not only that, but he totally liked my tweets and replied to one of my tweets last year. So we're basically best friends. But Flavortown is just that. Guy Fieri, diners, drive-ins, and dives, he's the mayor of Flavortown. And I felt like it was perfectly suited for a red. So I chose that name for the red shade. Now, below that, I couldn't do my first palette without a shade called Am I Orange? And you guys, I am so excited to have this in here. If you've been following me for a while, you know that there's one question that I ask myself in almost every video, and that is, am I orange? Because I swear to you, I always am. My camera has a glitch in it in the white balance. It is not something I can fix. I have tried. I'm telling you what, I need to figure this thing out. Oh, it's getting worse as I'm sitting here. Why must you be orange? Is this orange? Yes. Am I orange? Oh, I am. You stupid son of a bitch. I'm so orange. Am I orange? Am I orange? Damn it. Am I orange? I am still freaking ass orange. Why? With what we've got, and it looks like I am orange. Oh, Christ. Am I orange again? Yes. Help me, Lord. Help, help, help. But it turns me orange. I'll just be sitting here and my face will be pumpkin ass orange in the middle of a sentence, randomly, nothing changes. Why did it do that? I don't know. Nobody knows the answer. So I had to put it in a shade called Am I Orange, because am I? The shade below this is the yellow, and that is Dandelion. Now, that shade is named Dandelion because, well, first of all, it's yellow. But second of all, I have a video that I'm gonna show right here, and it is from when my niece was 2 years old. She's 8 now. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. She's so big now. Sitting on the couch, and it was their first time being able to talk, really. It was like something happened, and one day she was just able to say all of these words. And I just happened to have my camera. I turned it on and recorded her, and there is this one clip that me and my sister will reference for the rest of our lives because it is the most precious moment that exists on this earth, and that is Avery at 2 years old saying Dandelion for the first time.
What's this one?
Bow.
A flower. It's a dandelion.
Dandelion.
Oh my god.
Bread.
Bless you.
Bless you.
That's
Bless,
it. Okay, what's
bless
this?
you.
What's this?
Bless you, Amy.
Bless you, Avery.
And so she's my little dandelion. Garden State is the green shade, and Garden State is Zach and I's favorite movie, like of all time. It is hands down just, there's something about that movie that makes us feel like we're more in love, and that if that's even possible. I love that guy with my whole entire heart. And it's like that movie that, you ever have like a song with your significant other, just somebody that you just like have those moments and you're like, that's our thing? Garden State is that thing for us. When we want to feel like just our hearts explode with love, I don't know what it is, but that movie just has those feel goods for me. And not only that, but we started gardening and we love our state. So it's, you know what? It's saying we love it all. I love gardening, love my state, and I love the movie Garden State with my husband, okay? The shimmer shade in the palette is called Cafe Disco, and that is one of our ultimate favorite episodes from The Office. The Office is the best show, hands down. And when people are like, liking The Office isn't a personality trait, I'm like, okay, well, not liking The Office isn't either. It's actually one of those shows that annoyingly everyone will be like, watch it, it's the best show that exists. And then people won't because it seems like it's gonna be really boring. And then even you watch the first season, you're like, ugh. this is the worst. And then you keep watching it, and then by the end, you're so in love with all the characters that you could literally throw up and die right there because it's so funny and it's so just like makes you feel the most love in your heart of any show ever. That's The Office. And when Zach and I watched it for the first time, we looked at each other and we were like, we have been missing out our entire lives, and now we're on the 6th time of watching it, so I love it. But Cafe Disco is such a feel-good episode. It's just, that's all it is. It's just such a feel-good episode, and it was perfect for a shimmery shade, because come on, disco. The blue shade in the palette is called Hurtful. Anything that was mildly inconvenient was like extremely rude and hurtful. It just started getting to the point where everything that I would say would become, you know, true, but also hurtful, rude, and hurtful. And so hurtful just is what it is. It's something that's mildly inconvenient or not at all, or mildly rude or not at all, or true, but also hurtful. The purple shade in the palette is called Tribute. It's the name of a song from one of me and my husband's all-time favorite bands, Tenacious D. We went to a Tenacious D concert. I think it wasn't last year, was it? But it was hands down like the best concert I've ever been to in my entire life. Hands down. It was just, you ever have those days that are just like perfect days? This was one of those days. It just felt fitting, so Tribute. The pink shade is called Side Effect. Now, Side Effect is actually the name of our childhood Hanson cover band. Don't make fun of us. We were really, really cool. Me, my sister, and our best friend Brittany, we were all in a Hanson cover band. Yes, we were, and we were called Side Effect. And we would play in talent shows, and we thought we were the shit. And we kind of were, frankly, until they kicked me out of the band because they said I was too bossy. Which, fair. And Lumos is the white shade. Lumos is the spell in Harry Potter for light. And it just felt fitting that it be for the white shade. I wanted something name-wise that would be for Harry Potter in here because it's just my whole childhood. I have a Harry Potter pillow from like, oh my God, 1998. I mean, I don't even know how old it was. I mean, just truly, I grew up reading the books. I grew up watching the films. I saw them all opening day. Just to this day, there's something magical about the land of Harry Potter that I love so much and just hold so dearly. And so I had to have Lumos. And that is the colorful side of the palette. Now, if you flip it over, and again, you will know which side of the palette you're on because of the stamp on the side. So the rose gold side, this is the neutral side of the palette. Now, this is the side that I get the absolute most use out of. This side is hands down, I wear it every day. I mean, I've been wearing it every day for months. You guys just don't know. Anytime I've been in a video and I'm like not saying what eyeshadow I'm using this palette. And it sucks because I wanted to tell you guys, but obviously I couldn't. So, sorry. But the 3 matte shades I have on my eyes right now, every day, and I'll talk to you guys about those in a second. So the first shade at the very top is this like mustardy warm shade. You guys know, if you've been following me for any length of time, mustard eyeshadows are my shit. They are everything I love in my life, and that is what I live for. That goldenrod, beautiful, like warmth, not necessarily in the orange spectrum, but that really mustardy gold color I live for, and this is my favorite eyeshadow combo, hands down. So the first shade is that really beautiful mustardy shade, and it is called Camelot. It's got kind of a sad meaning to the name Camelot, but Camelot is actually the last movie that we ever watched with my mom. So it was my mom's favorite movie, and our whole lives she was asking us, like, you guys watch it? And, you know, we just never got around to it. And then, of course, my mom passed away in 2004, and we knew it was coming. It was getting close to the end. And we sat down as a family and watched it. And when I say that I could start crying 1,000 tears right now, I really could. Because as good as it was, in ways, it was the most heartbreaking. I could never watch it. You could never put that movie on for me now. I could never. But I wanted a shade that wasn't just my mom's name, but something that reminded me of my mom. So that is the shade Camelot. And it's one of my favorite shades in the palette. So it makes sense because I love you, Mom. The shade below that is for my dad, and that is the shade Copper Boxes. This is my #1 favorite shade in the entire palette. It's the shade that I use, hands down, more than any others. When I just want a quick wash of color or I'm running out the door, Copper Boxes is what I throw on my lids. And the name Copper Boxes symbolizes my dad because he is an insanely talented metal artist. He makes the most beautiful metal art for friends and family as gifts. And one of those things that he has coined as such a beautiful and thoughtful gift that he gives out are copper boxes. And he actually makes them, and they're so beautiful. And I have many of them that he gives for like birthdays or Christmas. And I wanted, again, not just to say my dad's name, but to have something that reminds me of my dad, and that is Copper Boxes. And they are truly, like, if he makes you one, it's just such a special thing because they're so beautifully made. They'll last long after I'm gone, and they're just so beautiful, and they patina so beautifully, and they're just such good craftsmanship and really well made, and I just love them. So that's from my dada. That's Copper Boxes. And that shade is like a really beautiful mid-toned mustardy brown. The shade below that is B. Now that shade is, all of these shades on the very left hand side you can see go well together. So I had it go in rows kind of down on this side. So the very left row is my mustard row, and I had to have it. It was a deal breaker. I was like, that I gotta have my mustard row. Everything else can kind of complement. But this row, B, is the deep warm mustardy brown shade. So this shade is called B because that is actually like the term of endearment that I call my husband. B is what I call him. I don't call him Zach. I don't call him honey or babe. He's B. And I don't know why. Don't ask me why. I literally don't know. You ever just say something and you're like, why do I call you that? That's what it is. He's my B. And I don't know why, but I'll take it. So I wanted a shade for my husband, of course, who I love with my whole heart. I'm going to explain the color theory idea behind the palette. This video is going to be so long, and I am so sorry, but it is what it is. I'm going to explain the whole palette layout and just how I thought of it all coming together, specifically this neutral side in a moment. But the shade B, it's on my eyes right now. So those are all the shades I have on my eyes right now, plus the shimmer. Top middle is It Just Does. Now I wanted a peachy shade, and again, I'll explain it in just a moment, but this whole neutral side of the palette, what my thought process was going through it was have a neutral palette on this side that you can kind of create a multitude of extremely different looking eye looks and colors that complement each other and can be mixed and matched. And I really feel like that is the case with these shades. So It Just Does. Where did I come up with that name? Well, the answer to anything is it just does. Have you guys seen Joe Dirt?
How exactly is a rainbow made? How exactly does the sun set? How exactly does a positive track rear end on a Plymouth work? It just does.
It just does.
That's my answer for everything. And it's maybe not a good answer, but it's the answer I give. And I thought that it would be fitting. A lot of these I realize are like references to movies, and maybe that's pathetic, but that's what I like, okay? I don't know what to tell you. It Just Does is a really pretty, like, deep peachy shade that can be either lightened with the top right color, or you can put it on full force. You can dip very lightly into it. It can be applied in many different ways, but I wanted to have a peachy shade in there that pairs really nicely with the cool brown that I'm going to show you in a second. The shade below that is the one shimmer on this side, and it is Golden Ticket. Now, this shade is a gold. It is, again, it matches really well with all of these shades on this side. So if you want a shimmer, you can either flip it around and use the whitier color, you can use the gold, or you can use something that you already have. I like this shade a lot because it goes really well with the mustards, but it also goes really well and beautiful on top of that peachy color. It goes really well with the shade next to it, the kind of purpley one we'll talk about in a minute. It goes beautifully with the warm shade underneath. It's sort of like your universal topper shade. And Golden Ticket is obviously in reference to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, which if you've been a subscriber for a really long time, you will see the rant on my channel about Grandpa Joe and how much of a piece of shit he is. I had to have some reference to Willy Wonka. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I love it so much, and I know every word to the movie, okay? I can recite it right here and right now. I can do the whole thing. That's how many times I've seen it, and I just love it. It just brings me back to childhood, and it's just such a good movie, and we had to have a Golden Ticket, baby. I mean, come on. The shade beneath that is the warm-toned orangey brown shade. I didn't want it to be an orange because on the other side of the palette, we've got our orange. This side, we've got a warm-toned, very wearable brown shade. And this shade is called Told You. Now, you probably know what this one is, and that is that anytime my husband, I mean, he says it every day of my life, okay? Love you with my whole heart, baby, but stop it. Basically, you could probably see it too. I did it to him in our pregnancy video. I will link it up here, but when I am telling him that I'm pregnant, I mean, God, what is this year? What is happening? But when I'm telling him that I'm pregnant and I look at him and I say, told you, that is me paying him back for the amount of times that he has said that to me. I said it.
You are the worst at calling everything.
I told you. When he's trying to prove himself right and me wrong, he loves to just look at me and be like, told you, with everything. And it's like his thing, and it drives me nuts. But that, I just had to add it in there because you know what, Zach? You really did tell me, but you know what I did? I told you, bitch. So this shade is a really beautiful and wearable neutral warm brown. If you pair it with B, really good. You pair it with the next one, really good as well. I'm gonna go through the shades and stuff and talk to you about that in a second more. Moving on to the next shade is called My Whole Heart. Now that shade, I think you've probably heard me say it like around 10 times in this video already, but everything I love with my whole heart. It's just like a thing. And when I asked you guys on Twitter like a year ago, I was like, what sayings make you think of me? So many people said it just does. My whole heart, the one that's coming up next. So many of you guys gave me information on like what I say, and this is one of those things for me. Everything I love with my whole heart, and that is so true. This is a soft, very light, peachy, neutral shade. Now this could be a skin tone shade for some people, like a nude for blending out. It can lighten some shades. It can blend out a lot of these colors. It's sort of one of those like universals. It is a lighter peach shade. Moo Point is the kind of mauve-y purple shade in the palette. The name of it comes from Friends, and if you guys have, this is another saying that I say a lot. So the reason I chose this is because I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there's an episode where Joey is trying to say moot point.
This is all a moot point.
Huh. A moo point?
Yeah. It's like a cow's opinion. It just doesn't matter. It's moo.
And so I had to add that into the palette. It's a saying that I say all the time. I use it in my everyday life. I'm like, it's a moo point. And people are probably like, this bitch is dumb. I wanted to have a shade in there that was completely cool toned, that was a very soft, pretty, mauve-y purple shade, because we've got all our warms in there already. And as you transition to the right side of the palette, you start getting into your cool tones, because I want there to be, again, a mixture of everything on this side. You're not just set with your warms, you've got your cools as well. And so Moo Point is a shade that is really, I think, extremely beautiful with the one beneath it. And I went back, and when I was creating this palette and I was creating the colors and I was looking at all of the everything, you guys, because I've gone through so many Pantone swatches I can't even begin to tell you. This shade was one that I went back and I looked on my Instagram and I was like, what are my favorite eye looks I've ever done? And I found one that I absolutely loved. And so I was like, what is that shade that I used? And it was a very cool tone mauve-y purple color. And I was like, I want to have one in here because it's such a soft, easy to do eye look. I created like this beautiful halo eye with it, with a really beautiful, I used one of the Stila glitters in the middle, and I really had like a super shiny middle, and I really, really loved that. So I wanted to have something in the palette that could work for that shade. So that is Moo Point. And right below that, the final shade is You're Not My Real Dad. So obviously, we know where this name comes from. I don't know when I started saying it. I feel like literally back in 2017, I said in a video, just as a joke, because it's something I say in my real life all the time. It's not mine. I didn't create it. It's not my saying. But it's, you know, you can't tell me what to do because you're not my real dad. It's like a teenager screaming at their parents. And it caught on so much so that now you guys call me dad. I had to have a You're Not My Real Dad in the palette. And that shade in here is the cool tone brown. Now, you can see it's not super, super cool tone, but it is definitely leans way more cool than it does B, which is a lot more of like that mustardy, warm toned brown. And as you can see on my eye, this is B, and it definitely has that warmth to it. You're Not My Real Dad works really beautiful with Moo Point. It just does. And honestly, they all work really well together, but I wanted to have kind of the right side of the palette be that more cool tone. So You're Not My Real Dad. And we had it in the palette. So that shade is the deep, blending out, neutral, cool tone shade. As far as formula goes with these, I'm going to be doing lots of tutorials coming up with this palette. I want to make sure that if any of you guys do pick it up, that you know how to use it, that you kind of know some eye looks that I've created, some things that I've done. I'm going to recreate all of the eye looks that I did for the campaign images. So if you guys are interested in any of those, I'll recreate this eye look right here. And I will show you guys how to use these, how they blend, all the information about this. I do want to discuss a couple of things with it first. So this, of course, is cruelty-free. PUR is cruelty-free, gluten-free, vegan-friendly, and recyclable as well. Obviously, palettes that have mirrors, that's a tough one. You know, you're going to get debatable on whether or not they're recyclable. Please recycle it. So I can tell you that was one of my big things. They would have let me do whatever packaging I wanted. I could have done anything. I wanted to keep it simple, small, as waste-free as possible, and make it recyclable. So if you do pick this up, recycle both when you're done. So the way I tried to do it was that you've got your mustards. You can just, boom, put on all this row. They all complement each other beautifully. Or you can say, you know what? I'm feeling a little bit more of in these tones right in the middle. And so you don't have to work in sections like this, but you absolutely can. Or what you can do is say, you know what? I want to mix this mustardy shade in with this one down here, which I have done and it looks absolutely beautiful. Or I just want to wear this shade. Or I want to go completely cool toned on my eye look today. But you have kind of your sections to work off of to where it's not too overwhelming. You don't have to think too hard about it. You just pick it up and you go. And if you want to go with the colorful side, I kept it rainbow. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, pink, you know, and then you've got not too many options. So you can say, you know what, these two colors are going to be absolutely beautiful together to create a beautiful like winged out look. Or I want to do pink and purple today. Or you know what, these can create that gorgeous sunset. You can put all of them together to create it. Or you can say, you know what, I want to mix both sides. I want neutrals mixed with it. So I really like this shade here, but it's not orange enough for me. So I'm going to flip it around and I'm going to mix it with a little bit of Ami Orange. You know, you have options. Now, of course, you do have to flip your palette around, but at the same time, it's one of those things that to me, it hasn't been an issue. I don't mind working with it at all. I find myself just gravitating, of course, mostly towards the neutrals because let's be honest, that's what I wear in the day-to-day. If you want to have that colorful option, it's right there for you on the other side. So if you want to like add a pop of purple in, or you want to add a pink lower lash line, you have the ability to do so. It's all kind of easy, and that's what I wanted. Just wanted it to be easy. So then we've got 2 pairs of lashes. This is going to be the longest video of all time. And again, this fits with the theme of the natural and the dramatic. So we've got the more natural lashes, which are the ones that I am wearing right now. And these are called lovely. That's another word that I use all the time to explain things. I'm like, this is just lovely, lovely. So we had to have a lovely lash. And this one is a clear banded lash. Now, of course, no mink, I would never. And these are faux silk lashes. So what you've got here, you can see the packaging. And if you're on the natural lash, you've got the same color as the stamp on the natural side of the palette. So on the neutrals, that's going to be this rose gold colored background. These are a clear banded lash. They're more separated. I wanted something that was really curly and absolutely beautiful that you didn't have to wear a lot of eyeshadow with if you wanted to just toss the lashes on. So you can wear them without a ton of eyeliner because they do have that clear band, but also that would be really beautiful without any eyeshadow if you didn't want it. Or if you wanted that more natural soft look, these are really beautiful lashes. They have a really gorgeous curl to them. So they have like this really sultry look. They're not super duper long. They are a little more short, which I love. I really love like an Ardell Demi Wispy situation. And these are that, but like amplified. They're not super thick lashes at all. And because they have that clear band and separation, I find them to be extremely comfortable to wear. So these are the lovely lash, and these are the more natural looking pair, if you will. For the other lashes in the collection, these are called Can't Be Bothered. Now these lashes, 180 from the others. Can't Be Bothered, the name is truly that. And I say it all the time. It's another thing that I say all the time. It's just, I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered to care. In these lashes, you literally look like you can't be bothered. These look different on everybody. The PUR team tried them on. My sister, I put them on. I've tried them on myself. And depending on how you customize these lashes, they can look so different on everyone. Now, they are extremely long and fluttery. If you leave them at full length, meaning you don't cut the lashes down, they can be huge looking. For me, sometimes that can be a little overkill. These are the more dramatic pair, so if you are somebody that's not dramatic at all, you may not love these. If you are so dramatic and extra, you may love these. But this is what the lashes look like. They have the holographic background here. When you open it up, these are the lashes. They're not nearly as curled as the others. What I personally like to do with these is if I have a really dramatic look. So these are actually what I was wearing the other day when I uploaded my Savage X Fenty try-on haul, and you guys can see what they look like at full length. So this isn't with cutting them, this is just with some eyeshadow, and this is actually with the PUR eyeshadows as well. For that eye look, it was just the shade It Just Does with a little bit of Golden Ticket in there as well. So that's what they look like on me at full length. Now, if you take these and you cut them, meaning you can take the inner, so this is the inner corner of the eye, and you can like cut them kind of shorter, you can use these as a beautiful, very sexy feline outer corner lash. I really like that as well. You can wear them at full length. I need to cut these down anyway because they are an extremely long lash. They look very dramatic, but they also look so different on everyone. They don't look the same on literally anybody. I feel like they're such a unique, customizable lash, and for me, the best way I like to wear them is that beautiful feline-esque outer corner. If you have like a beautiful wing and you just want that really gorgeous outer corner, take and cut the outside of the lash off and just so pretty. So you've got your neutral side, your natural lashes, your colorful side, and your dramatic lashes. You have a lot of different ways you can customize things, ways that you can take this palette and make it something that would work for you. Hopefully you guys like it, and hopefully you feel like the colors are suitable and something that you might wear. And I hope you guys like the double-sided palette. For pricing, so you guys know, the palette itself is $34. Lashes are $14 each. I'm hoping so much that you guys like the collection and that you feel like you are gonna find something that will work for you. And of course, if not, that's totally fine too. If you guys are interested in picking this up, it's actually launching this coming Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, noon Eastern. And it's going to be on the PUR Cosmetics website, which I'm gonna have linked in the description of this video. I'm also gonna be on social media, on my Twitter, on my Instagram, making sure you guys know when it's about to go live. Go for sale. I can't even believe this is going to actually happen and that there's going to be a product with my name on it being sold to people. I've never sold anything in my life. I'm just not the one, you guys. It's funny because people have been asking for a collab for so long, and I have loved the process of it in so many ways. It's so interesting to find out what kind of person you are. I have found that I am too much of a perfectionist. Oh, it's honestly unbelievable. I could never have my own brand. I would hate everything because I am that person. I take everything, I look at it, I'm like, terrible idea, you're stupid, throw it away. And other people are like, I love this idea. I'm like, oh, you do? Oh, weird. Okay, I like it now too. It's so funny because I posted the teaser today, the first teaser where it's just me walking through a door, and people are like, doorknobs, you're selling doorknobs. You got hair extensions, is that what you're trying to tell us? Because I have long hair in it, because that's the double sides to myself. Like, that's the whole vibe. Could you actually imagine if I did that dramatic ass teaser because I got longer hair? Could you imagine? This is a collaboration, you guys. I hope you like it so much. I really, really hope you do. I hope that it makes sense. I hope that it is something that you can see yourself using, and if not, totally fine. You know, we all have preferences. We all have things we do and don't like, and if you already have enough, totally fine. If you're looking for something like this, I hope you do like it. I hope you like the formulas. I hope you guys like everything. And I'm gonna do a get ready with me coming up soon where I'm using the palette and talking all about the whole process, talking about what went on behind the scenes, showing you the photo shoot, showing you everything about what creating something like this entails. It is not at all kind of what I really thought it was going to be, and just my thought process behind the whole thing. I mean, just so different. You know, you never know how any of this stuff goes until you're doing it. And then when you're doing it, you're like, oh, I see how it is now. And I wanted to talk to you about the launch party that was supposed to happen that got canceled because of COVID and would have been the funnest thing in the entire world, and I'm really upset about it, and I'm smiling right now because I've already cried about it. That video is going to be coming soon. Again, I have so many tutorials on this palette coming because I want to use it. I feel like sometimes people launch things and they don't show you different eye looks or ideas or different techniques or different things when it surrounds it. So I want to show you guys how I've been using it and what my ideas were, and different maybe shapes of eye looks you can create. You can dip gently into it and get a very soft application. You can dip kind of firmer into it and get really heavy application. I will say, as far as application, which I will be going over all of this in subsequent videos, so if you guys are looking to, you know, get it on Sunday, and of course I don't have any tutorials out yet, don't worry, those will be coming, but I wanted to talk to you. It is one of those palettes you need the gentlest tap into it because there is kick up. It is one of those that is soft and pigmented, and you want to just tap right in. I hope you guys like it. Thank you guys so much for all of your support and for watching me for all these years, and for this year hitting 1 million subscribers, and for the baby, and for my first collaboration. What is happening? Sometimes in so many ways it can feel like the earth is shattering apart in other areas, and in my life in this moment it doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel like this is actually happening, and it doesn't feel like I deserve it in any way, shape, or form. And I thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing, for being here with me all these years, and for hopefully liking the collection. And I hope you guys do. All the launch information, everything you guys need, in the description of this video, reference there. And I thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you at my next video. Bye! Any other day is fine. Not today. Hang on. There's some gunkies all over it. What is it? What are you? So this is the palette right here. As you guys can see, it's PUR X RawBeautyKristi. So this is the neutral side of the palette. Ooh, little plastic thing fell out. If you look at the palette, we've got the artwork of go away, get. For the longest time, it was like our show that literally get fucked. Like, do it. Just get fucked. That's the picture frame with my little husband's face in it. I swear to God in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. It is the most precious. The shade below that is the so it just does is a really pretty, like, the shade beneath that is the warm toned. I'm gonna talk to you guys. I'm gonna go through. No. First of all, so what I thought was, if you are a beginner in makeup, fix that inner corner. By neutrals and then that really bright, colorful side. I say colorful every single time. And then the really bright, colorful that do have that little asterisk next to them, and that is Flavortown Am I Orange. A lot of other palettes have this as well. Do I have to lock your ass downstairs, really? I think I do. Yeah, I do. You really like it. If you guys... Literally, fuck off, bus. I'm talking about my collaboration. You're making it terrible for me. Get out of here, you piece of shit. I am sweating my actual human balls off, you guys. It is so hot in this room, and I chose to wear a sweater. And I am 19 weeks pregnant and dying of heat in this godforsaken house with so many trucks driving by and so much sweat coming out of all of my glandulars all day. Okay.